Hello and welcome. Here's what's happening right now. Donald Trump's renewed threat ahead of a looming deadline.
August 1st is going to come, and we will have most of our deals.
What the U.S. president said about the elusive trade deal with Canada.
Good spirits, healthy, walk on their own to the vehicle.
How rescuers managed to reach trapped mine workers faster than expected, ending an ordeal.
They went into every nook and cranny of my life.
A routine rental until officers got involved. What an Alberta man never saw coming.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
First, it was July 21st. Then the date for a trade deal with the United States was moved to August 1st. Now, Donald Trump says a final deal may not happen at all, making tariffs an unavoidable reality for the Canadian economy. As negotiations between Ottawa and Washington continue behind the scenes, the U.S. president seems intent on creating economic chaos and confusion. CTV's Abigail Beeman is in Ottawa now with more on where Canada goes from here. Abigail.
Heather, that's the big question. No comment today from the Prime Minister's office or key ministers as everyone tries to figure out what comes next as the president throws new cold water on the idea of a deal. U.S. President Donald Trump says most trade deals will be finished by August 1st. But as for us,
we haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs. Not really a negotiation.
Hot on the heels of senior Canadians declaring progress and encouragement after D.C. meetings.
I had a productive, cordial discussion meeting with Secretary Lutnick.
We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
It looks like we're trying to negotiate with the guy at the reception desk. Commerce Secretary Lutnick's not going to make decisions.
Ottawa has certainly been focused on Washington.
I hope the Prime Minister and the government will start doing is being a little bit more forceful in putting out exactly what we're going to do in terms of preparing workers who are going to be affected.
The hit is starting to be material and financial in nature.
The Canadian Chamber of Commerce says the months of uncertainty are toxic for business.
It's not going to go away on August 1st, even if we have a temporary deal, because we are facing a real review of CUSMA, which is the big one.
But for now, all eyes are on August 1st, with no one having a clear sense of what will happen before the day the president has threatened to impose 35% tariffs on all goods not covered by CUSMA. Heather?
Abigail, thank you. Meanwhile, Trump arrived in Scotland today for a mix of business and pleasure, touting the prospect of a trade deal with Europe.
We're meeting with the European Union, and that would be actually the biggest deal of them all if we make it.
Trump landed at Glasgow's Prestwick Airport as thousands watched on. He's set to meet with the European Union president and the British Prime Minister during the 5-day visit. He will also visit his golf resorts, including a new one named in honor of his mother, who was born in Scotland. South Park's co-creator made a mock apology to the U.S. president for ridiculing him in its opening episode.
Did you anticipate the reaction today? Have you been following it? What do you make of it? We're terribly sorry.
Trey Parker's comments coming at a Comic-Con event in San Diego. The satire took several low blows at the president, including depicting him naked in bed with Satan. The White House called it a desperate attempt for attention by a fourth-rate show hanging on by a thread. Reaction is still pouring in after all 5 former junior hockey players were acquitted in a high-profile sexual assault trial. The story captured national headlines, putting focus on hockey culture and the meaning of consent. CTV's Adrian Gobriel followed the trial closely and today spoke with someone working to educate young players.
Heather, in communities right here in London, Ontario, and across parts of the country, hockey is life. Even with 5 players found not guilty of sexual assault, there are many who are examining Canada's national sports. A verdict delivered, a sports culture remains in the spotlight.
They found me lying on a floor in the bathroom, unconscious.
Kathleen LaRoche was 23 years old when she believed she was drugged and then eventually sexually assaulted in 2015 by a major junior hockey player in Quebec who she says would go on to have a successful NHL career.
I called him. They found me like unconscious. What happened? He said, just the only thing is I'm about to sign with the NHL. Please don't talk about it. So, that's what I did.
In denial for years, she suppressed the memory of what she says took place.
When Me Too wave came, my body started having anxiety symptoms, like as if my body remembered, even if my head didn't want to.
As part of her personal journey and to help educate athletes, LaRoche is now working with hockey players and coaches at all levels, starting as young as 15 years old, sharing her experience and the importance of consent and self-awareness.
I want to educate people like him to protect people like me.
Author Laura Robinson wrote Crossing the Line, that examines the pervasive culture of Canada's national sport.
In my book, I have two guys who were convicted, actually, Jarrett Reed and Andrew Power, as they were convicted as junior players. They're both coaching right now.
Following this week's verdicts, one-time star goalie Carter Hart had his lawyer share this message.
He is committed to sharing what he has learned with others in his personal circle and in his professional life.
We need to hear what Carter Hart believes those lessons are. We have to stop acting like this, and we have to make sure that there's not a generation after us acting like this.
For LaRoche, that's her ultimate goal.
By helping them understand themselves more, they can be more conscious about their actions.
LaRoche says she's witnessed a willingness from young athletes eager to change the narrative, adding that she's hopeful for the next generation. Heather.
Adrian Gobriel in London, Ontario. There is relief at a remote mine in northern British Columbia today. 3 workers who were trapped underground for more than 2 days are now safely on the surface following a complex rescue operation. CTV's Reagan Hasagawa is following the developments.
After more than 60 hours trapped deep underground, these scenic views of the Red Chris mine are a sight for sore eyes.
3 workers from high-tech drilling who were safely brought to surface last night. They are being reunited with their families early this morning. We are deeply relieved that all 3 individuals are safe and in good health and spirits.
One worker described the ordeal as a wild week and said he was glad to be out of there. The diamond drillers from BC, Manitoba, and Ontario were rescued faster than experts had expected, thanks to their quick thinking and the help of new technology.
Safety protocols work. Incredible that Kevin, Darren, and Jesse did exactly what they were trained to do, and because of that, they stayed safe.
The trio got trapped Tuesday after 2 rock falls in the access tunnel. They were able to get to a refuge chamber equipped with everything they needed to survive for weeks, but they did lose all communication.
We do the daily inspections. We do monthly inspections. We actually do second line of defense inspections with teams from external to observe and see. This one that caught us by surprise.
Experts say these kinds of rock falls are rare.
It's just nothing but uncertainty, radical uncertainty.
He says it appears everything was done to prevent the disaster, but the nature of the work is unpredictable.
They were probably drilling holes for explosives. What they were building was a ramp, or what was known as a decline into the underground.
He expects we'll soon be hearing about these kinds of situations more often.
BC is really open pit mining country, and it has been for a while. Very few underground mines. We're going to see more underground mines because of the demand for metals.
BC may lead the industry in safety, but experts warn automation is the next step to prevent future emergencies. The open pit mine at Red Chris is resuming operations, but the underground project will remain closed until the investigation is complete. Reagan Hasagawa, CTV News, Vancouver.
A new search of a Winnipeg area landfill is expected to begin soon for Ashley Shingoose, one of 4 women murdered by convicted serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky. One Manitoba woman wants the search to expand in hopes of finding her niece, who has been missing for over a decade. CTV's Alex Karpa has her story.
Susan Caribou often comes to the Brady Road landfill to sing and drum. It's her way of connecting with her niece, Tanya Niepanak. Her niece has been missing since September 2011.
She was very caring. She had a beautiful voice. and she wanted to sing.
Investigators believe her remains are at the landfill. Winnipeg police conducted a 6-day search in October 2012, but that was unsuccessful. 13 years later, Caribou says they've been left with no answers.
No matter how long I wait, it gets harder.
The Manitoba government announced late last week that the search of the Prairie Green landfill officially ended on July 9th and that searchers would be coming here to the Brady Road landfill to start a new search. Searchers will be looking for Ashley Shingoose, one of 4 victims killed by convicted serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky in 2022. Caribou is hoping the search at the same landfill her niece is believed to be will include her.
It's hard to imagine that she's in there.
Caribou has met with Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew multiple times over the last few months to discuss a possible search, but that conversation has since stopped.
They continue to break their promises.
Catherine Strongwind believes this new important search should be expanded.
This is an opportunity to again listen to the families and to hear from folks in the community to say we are listening, and all Indigenous lives matter.
She don't belong up there.
All Caribou wants is for her niece to be returned home so she can get much needed closure. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
An Alberta man is demanding accountability after he says his car rental experience through the app Turo went sideways. While crossing back into Canada, he claims border agents found remnants of a deadly drug inside the vehicle. CTV's Kathy Lee spoke with the man about the ordeal and what others need to know about using these services. Kathy.
Heather, the man says he was traumatized by the search at the border, but even more so, he's concerned about the traces of drugs that were found in the vehicle. Think Airbnb, but for vehicles. That's what peer-to-peer car-sharing company Turo is. With 340,000 active vehicles and millions of people using them, including this Calgary man.
The purpose of the renting the car was to pick up a friend in Montana, and then from there to drive him back here to Calgary.
While crossing the U.S. border back in February was no trouble, returning to Canada was. Christian Riaz says Canada Border Services Agency officers asked to search his rental.
Well, I have nothing to hide, go for it. And so, long story short, they found fentanyl.
He claims officers found about 2 milligrams of fentanyl residue, a deadly amount.
They made the conclusive understanding based on that residue that it was from somebody before us.
But after 3 hours, they were allowed to leave. The CBSA says it can't comment and provide details on specific cases. Despite Riaz obtaining documents about the border search, Turo disputes his claims about the drugs, saying to CTV allegations regarding the presence of fentanyl in the vehicle are not supported by the records available to Turo. The San Francisco-based company restricted the vehicle, but to his shock, Riaz says it was relisted the next day. Turo maintains it confirmed with the owner of the vehicle that it was thoroughly cleaned before being relisted. Riaz wants Turo to do more to prevent similar incidents, but that might be difficult.
They will always disclaim liability and say it's between you and the driver, or you and the other party that's loaning you or providing the service to you.
Still, Riaz will keep fighting.
Accountability. An investigative body that looks at car sharing or car sharing companies
to ensure safety for all car renters. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Coming up.
They really didn't want to make a deal.
What has put ceasefire talks in limbo as starvation mounts in Gaza? Plus, why the star of Top Boy is under investigation. More people died in Gaza today from starvation as the food shortage reaches its peak. Aid agencies have warned the rate of malnutrition is soaring, and Canada has joined a chorus of countries pleading for more aid to be let in. CTV's Kamal Karamali on Israel's response.
Among the rubble in Gaza City, the desperate need for even a morsel of food growing more dire each day. This father forced to bury his 2-month-old. He says it's because there's no food or formula. More than 100 international aid and human rights groups have warned of mass starvation. UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency says 1 in 5 children in Gaza City alone is malnourished. People in Gaza are neither dead nor alive. They're walking corpses.
This is a deliberate use of hunger as a weapon of war, and that is absolutely illegal.
Prime Minister Mark Carney Thursday condemning Israel's failure to prevent the rapidly deteriorating humanitarian disaster, calling it a violation of international law and calling on Israel's aid distribution to be replaced. With growing pressure, Israel saying today it'll allow other countries to parachute aid into Gaza. Israel took control of handing out aid back in May. They said it was to prevent Hamas from stealing it and using it for profit. But since then, the UN says hundreds of starving Palestinians have been gunned down by Israeli troops at distribution sites, with Israel claiming it only fired warning shots. All of it creating even more urgency for a ceasefire. But Thursday, the U.S. pulled out of ceasefire talks with Hamas, saying they failed to act in good faith.
When you get down to those last 20 hostages, it's going to be very hard for Hamas to make a deal because they lose their shield.
France's president said he will press ahead with recognizing a Palestinian state in September. Canada's foreign affairs minister now on her way to attend a UN conference next week where she'll meet with French representatives.
I have been in touch with my French counterpart, Jean-Noël Barrot, as well, relating to this question.
French President Emmanuel Macron saying he will work to convince other partners to follow suit, something Israel has condemned. Carney maintaining Canada supports a two-state solution. Heather.
Kamal Kramali in Toronto, thanks. As tensions escalate between Thailand and Cambodia over a long-running border dispute, there's dramatic video of the clashes. Thailand's army releasing this footage showing multiple targets hit by drones inside Cambodia. The two sides exchanging fire for the second straight day. More than a dozen people have been killed and tens of thousands displaced. It's the worst outbreak of violence between the two countries in over a decade. British actor Michael Ward has been charged with rape and sexual assault.
What's happened to you, man? Used to be a legend around here.
The 27-year-old is known for his role in the Netflix series Top Boy. Police say the charges relate to one woman and are alleged to have happened in January of 2023. Ward will appear in court in London next month.
Messi, what a ball! Here's Alba shooting, tie game!
One of soccer's biggest stars, Lionel Messi, has been suspended for not playing in Major League Soccer's All-Star game on Wednesday without prior approval. The Argentine and his Inter Miami teammate, Jordi Alba, were both given a one-match ban. The team says Messi rested due to a packed schedule and Alba because of a previous injury. Inter Miami's owner calls it a bad rule. CTV National News will be right back. Stay with us. Unclaimed bodies piling up in Newfoundland and Labrador is a problem health officials have faced for years. A troubling story as people deal with the rising cost of living and dying. Officials have come up with a new approach. Part of the solution is an expanded morgue. CTV's Garrett Berry had a look at that today. And Garrett, what else are we learning about the new approach?
Heather, health officials say new infrastructure along with new procedures for handling unclaimed remains will amount to a lasting solution to a backlog that shocked this province 1 year ago.
These outdoor freezer units stacked in a hospital loading bay became a makeshift morgue last year in St. John's when staff struggled to keep up with a pile of human remains, nearly 30, going unclaimed in the province's largest hospital. Now, a suite of 4 new units has dramatically increased morgue space here from about 12 to nearly 100 spaces, depending on the configuration.
Based on that data-driven exercise that we did, we've built the site to accommodate our current needs as well as project into the future.
There's also a new legal regime. A law passed in December gives the health board expanded powers to make final arrangements for some individuals if no family can be found. A new website gives the public a 5-day notice to come forward. After that, Newfoundland and Labrador Health Services can arrange for cremation or a funeral.
We do have a way now to have a very respectful burial that's empathetic and caring. And in most cases, we're able to have this burial in the communities where people were from.
Even now, health officials say they're still not entirely sure what happened during the COVID-19 pandemic to cause the backlog of bodies here to grow. Still, they're convinced that these new changes will allow for quicker and more respectful final arrangements. Heather.
Garrett, thank you. After the break, from studio to sanctuary, what a sculptor and a Canadian military veteran have in common. If you get the chance to wander through a public park in Fredericton this summer, you might come across displays of public art, as well as the artists themselves. The city's Artist in Residency program is again offering a window into the creative process. CTV's Sarah Plowman went to check it out.
Tucked between trees, Gary Crosby leans in, inviting others to observe. Slice by slice, wood falls, a face forms. This is a mythological green man.
The green man is a combination mixture of a human figure and forest leaves and growth. It's usually a sign of spring.
At another park, Sarah Maloney eyes and molds her surroundings, ladies' slippers and finches. Art is how she understands the world.
It's how I make the world make sense, through looking at things and making things in response to the things I see.
These are two of Fredericton's latest artists in residence, true public art.
They're in residence for 2 weeks and they just get to create based on their environment, and it's an opportunity for people using the park to meet an artist, see what they're up to.
Crosby is a Canadian Armed Forces veteran turned carver, whose work now sits atop this popular walking bridge. To him, carving offers escape.
I can get into this and the rest of the world falls away and I just focus on what I'm doing.
Maloney is a sculptor and textile artist whose work is on display at Fredericton's Beaverbrook Art Gallery. But on this day, her focus is this workshop, part of her residency.
To pique their curiosity about things and get them to see something in a new light.
Last week, she taught embroidery. This week, it's clay modeling. This family came back for seconds.
Spending a couple hours, quality time. It's nice.
A way to bring people along an artist's journey.
Any of the stuff I've got here, they get to see it being created and being done and what my thought process is as I go through it.
From the mind to the masterpiece. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Some beautiful pieces. That is our newscast for this Friday. Thank you for watching. I'm Heather Butts. Your local CTV News starts right now.